welcome to Sports Khabri with me, Rishi and Adi, and this is our first Euro 2024 video, and we're going to be discussing, according to us, the top three strikers taking part in this competition. Of course, it's not just based on performances in history. So yeah, like we can't just name Robert Lewandowski as you were discussing before this. It'll depend on what these guys can really contribute to their teams, potentially how far they could go, how many goals they could score, and yeah, of course, the team has a lot to do with, um, naming these strikers. But yeah, that's the basis of it. And let's start off first off. Rishi, any player that you just want to directly throw into the mix? And it's the same thing. If we have a 2-on-1, we'll go with the 2-on-1. And yeah, simple. At number three, any strikers, any obvious choices that you think have to be there?
I don't know if it's number three, if we can name him any higher, but I think one of the obvious names that we can't skip, who will be the top scorer for the team at least, and who will score a bag of goals for no matter what team he plays, is pretty much Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Like, of course, he's been England's top scorer in the World Cups before, and he's also been the top scorer for Bayern Munich and Bundesliga. Unfortunate that they couldn't win the league, but I still think the team is going to be set around him, and rightfully so. The team is going to be, they're going to try and look to feed him and get him off the mark and get him leading the line.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I think I agree. I think Harry Kane is one of those names you can't leave out just simply because of the numbers he's had this season. I think he also finished as England's highest goal scorer in the World Cup, didn't he?
Yeah, that's good.
He was in Euro 2020.
And if I'm not wrong, in 2018, he was the top scorer of the World Cup.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think he's got the pedigree. He's, of course, I don't think Harry Kane, dude, honestly, like one of my sort of go-to strikers if I ever had to win international football. I think he's got everything. I think Harry Kane obvious for you?
Not really from my side. I mean, we're talking about the top players in the world, not a great striker. I mean, if you're talking about the top three, you can say Harry Kane. Yes.
What? Did you say?
We're talking about an international level, right? You talk about Harry Kane. You talk about his presence in the international World Cup. You're telling he's top scorer in the World Cup. I think he had 5 penalty goals in that World Cup. And the previous World Cup in 2022 barely did anything for England. Missed the crucial penalty. Even in the France game where they scored a goal, it was through a penalty. And then the next penalty goal, which he was supposed to score to get them back to level, he missed it. It was a very bad penalty. And we talk about Kane, pedigree-wise, I mean, for me, never been a fan of him in the big games. We saw this year in the UCL, didn't score a non-penalty goal against Arsenal in both legs. Didn't score against Real Madrid in the big game. Failed to score against Bayern Leverkusen. Failed to score in a title game, right? So in my opinion, Kane is a great player, but it is a lot of a flat track bully kind of player. Because when I look at him in the big occasions, we've never seen him play in the big occasions, and he doesn't perform well in the big occasions over time. Same you take back to the Euros when Italy played England. You didn't see him have a great game that game. Didn't score a goal. Even the same thing with Germany. It was not him who scored. I think it was he scored a penalty, if I'm not wrong, again. So Kane is always correlated to penalties in big games. Without a penalty, I don't think he has that overall game to even affect. Maybe he was good at a time, but we can't tell, he's a great striker based on, his terms of international pedigree, because I don't think he has it. And we're talking about the main players. I think we have better strikers in the world who carry the nations over time,
Dude, but don't you think he's going to have a good goal scoring season? Because, dude, look at the talent around him. Saka, Foden, of course, they're both of them having great seasons.
Yeah, but just the previous game, if you want to take it into account, the game where they played, oh my God, who did they play? I forgot. Iceland. Very bad game, terrible game. He was marked out the entire game. They played a very low block. Both the defenders was on his back the entire game. No physicality. He couldn't he's generally thrives under when he comes back inside, the Rona, pull the defenders up and you have your wingers through. I don't think that you'll get that with England, because everyone are behind the ball players anyways. You don't have any runners this time. You talk about the likes of Saka, Palmer, Foden. They're not players who are going to make run in behind Kane. They're going to play in behind Kane, and Kane needs to be the runner. And if Kane has to be the runner, has to be the target man, with the lack of pace around him, because previously you had players like Sterling, Rashford making runs for him, and that's where he thrived. That's why the partnership of Sterling and Kane thrived a lot in the previous Euros also. And last World Cup also, we had the pace of Rashford, who was able to be an outlet, and he also had a good World Cup. There's the thing, Kane as a striker himself, see, you can say he had a very good season in Bayern Munich. But again, in context, we can take Bayern Munich is always going to win the Bundesliga. We always say that. With the quality they had, they failed to win the Bundesliga this season. And the quality of defense you always play in Bundesliga is going to be way different from other leagues, right? I don't think you can just take in fact of, okay, he's the top scorer in the Europa League, I mean, in the Bundesliga, and, he's the best striker. Because, again, you have to take in context. I feel like the other players, I mean, if you want to talk about Bundesliga, I think the second best striker in Europe right now in terms of goals is Guirassy, but we wouldn't say Guirassy is the best top 3 strikers in the world also. So for me, it's a lot of factors with Kane. I just can't say, numbers are there to back him, especially goals. So he's going to be the top striker, at least for me.
Who according to you is definitely in the top 3?
It has to be Mbappe for me, from my side. Like, I don't think
I think Mbappe is a given. Like, let's not even get into Mbappe, because I'm sure all
But that's my point. We started the conversation with the sure favorite. And we put
I asked Rishi, because if you wanted to add a name, I think he said Harry Kane, which I think is still fair. But Mbappe, let's just put him there. Because
at least for me, Mbappe probably is one or the second best striker in the in the Euros, going into the Euros. So, like, when Rahul asked me, like, who do you think has a fair shot, is a definite, and probably the third best or the second best, I still feel it could be Kane. Like,
okay, let's put Mbappe. Let's put Mbappe because there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Who's the second best striker in the league? Mbappe is coming into this tournament with crazy pedigree. Of course, finished as top scorer in the World Cup, and he's had a good season with PSG as well this year in terms of goal scoring. So moving to number 2. I think who's your shot for number 2? Because that's the thing with Harry Kane, right? Like, because at the end of the day, you got the guys around you. He will score goals. I don't think he will not score goals.
It's not a given now. I mean, you can't just say he's going to score goals. It's a tournament-based format. It's not a league format where you're going to get 38 games. Being able to score against lower order teams, fight in relegations, able to score 3-4 goals against them, and then again, every game is going to be a huge game, and England's group won't be easy. They have a very tough group.
That's true. They've got not a very tough
group. I wouldn't say they are probably the toughest. They have
Denmark. They have Slovenia.
Denmark is a very good side, right?
Yeah,
and the way they played against England, you can't. By the way, the team they played against England was a full strength. There was everyone are starters for them. So we can't just say it's going to be an easy game. Even Serbia have a very good side, and even Slovenia have a very good side.
Yeah, but I'm saying probability-wise, he's still likely to score goals against these teams.
That is no given now. We can't just say he's going to score goals based on the opponents. And I'm saying these opponents are not to be taken lightly. We saw Denmark reach the semi-finals the last Euros, right? And also with Serbia, they have a very good team. They have very experienced players. Sorry?
I said fair enough, but I'm asking you that, who else do we place there? Who else is there?
Dude, that's the thing. I still feel like there are a lot of... See, for me, apart from a showstop Mbappe, I don't think the strike force right now in Europe is very, very strong in terms of names. Like, I can't sit and say, this guy's the best striker apart from, Mbappe. Because again, bro, if you talk about pedigree over time, I would rather give it to Lewandowski, who's actually proved in the big times over past 20-25 years.
Dude, but is he going to score goals with Poland? And he's not going to score goals. Unfortunately,
why is that?
I don't think Lewandowski had a great season, at least from according to his own standards. I don't think he had a great season with Barcelona in the first place.
I mean, he scored 19 goals in the league. That's not.
No, but I would still say probability-wise, Kane
in a tougher league also
scoring more goals than Lewandowski, and it's the same thing with Poland. At least in the recent times, I've seen Lewandowski score a lot of penalty goals. I don't remember even in the
fair enough. That's why I'm saying, as an entire career, we're looking at the top 3 strikers, maybe in terms of their pedigree, right? And that's where I'm coming from, that side. I'm not talking about just this season, etc., right? Because if you say this season, you'll have to put Kane as a top striker because he even scored more goals than Mbappe. But if you take into context of his goals, the matches he played, where he scored, it was very early on in the season, and it was against teams that but in the greatest of the greatest teams. Because when Bayern play the great teams, good teams in Europe, Real Madrid, Arsenal. I mean, I didn't see Kane doing much anyways, right? So that's where I'm coming from. I still
Any
can't
other shout?
see for me. If I have to go through pedigree, if I have to talk about a striker who's still going to score goals and can back, I would still go for Ronaldo, even though not the biggest fan of him,
You think he's
etc.
going
But
to start?
he will. I think he will, at least in my opinion. Maybe his last season with Portugal. And again, if I talk about Portugal, dude, again, like in terms of their strikers, I don't think anyone can play other than him as a strike. Like, who can you play, striker for them?
Felix
Gonzalo
Felix has
Ramos.
been very
Felix
poor.
doesn't start for
Gonzalo Ramos has
Barcelona.
had a
Ramos doesn't start for PSG.
yeah.
And they haven't been great players. They're not great goal
That's
scorers. You can't back them suddenly in a tournament. Jota is the only player, but I always feel like he's not a sure starter as a striker. You can always play him as a second striker, etc. But when we talk about strikers, I still feel Ronaldo, even though he's pretty old, still quality wise, I'd still take Ronaldo over.
Bro, I would
the
be really
talent.
hesitant to have. I would be really hesitant to have Ronaldo in there just simply because the guy hasn't played the highest level of football for a few years now. It's not
1.5
it's not going to be
It is
easy for him
1.5
to
years
come
now.
back into the fray. Huh?
1.5 years, by the way, not
I think that's a long time, dude.
sorry.
1.5 years is a long time. November
I mean,
2022 is when he last
still,
played.
like I would still back players like Mitrovic who are playing in the same league as what do you call Ronaldo, this SPL. I would still say watch a Mitrovic and still say okay, he still has a good season. He can still have a good Euros. We can't just discount Ronaldo because he's playing. See, the same way we can't say Messi's playing in the MLS. I don't think he's going to be the best player. He was the best player in the World Cup. He was the best player. He can still be the best
No,
player.
that I agree. That I agree. I think
But it's the
Messi is a
same
different
thing.
conversation.
Messi is
Also,
playing in the
Rahul,
MLS.
Rahul, I think see for when it comes to both Kane and uh, Ronaldo, it's a different argument when you're saying how far will they go to the tournament and how clutch will they be in the big moments. That I feel is a separate topic. If we're only isolating who we're backing to score a fair share of goals, I think the same argument can be used for Ronaldo as we used for Kane. Because look at the group; they have Turkey, they have Georgia, and they have Czech Republic. So I feel this is a much easier group than England's group. Like if we're saying that Harry Kane is going to score a fair amount of goals, which I still think he will. If that's the case, then I feel like Ronaldo deserves a fair shout, if not a better shout as Harry Kane. Because overall, I feel he has, if not the same quality of players, he has, in a nutshell, he has a very good squad to play around him. The quality of players, I feel, are right up there with some of the best squads in going into the tournament. Considering that and a relatively easier group than England, I feel I'm fairly sure that Ronaldo will also score a bag of goals.
Maybe no. If that is the case, then I don't see why Harry Kane will not score goals.
Yeah, no, I still think. See, that's why I said from when if we are to talk about how far these players will take their nations, how far or how clutch will they come in terms of scoring at the right moment when the team needs it. That is a separate occasion because even Ronaldo couldn't do that in the previous World Cup. That I feel is a separate topic altogether. But at least in the group stages, getting into the knockout stages, at least till then, if we are to name a few players who we would bet our money on, at least them scoring a fixed number of goals, I feel Ronaldo and Harry Kane have to be up there.
Okay, fair enough. Are there any other names? I mean, of course, there's a lot of talk about
That's the
Benjamin
thing.
Šeško.
Are we
but he's
looking
playing
at
for
the?
Slovenia.
Sorry, yeah. For me, it's are we looking at who's going to be the top three scorers this World Cup, or is it going to be like
I
who's the
think
top
we have to
three?
look at it from that perspective. Like, who will be the top three scorers in this World Cup from a striker's perspective? Like, for only strikers. Otherwise you can go in and say, like you said, Lewandowski or even Benjamin Šeško. So yeah, like it's. Yeah, I think that's where Harry Kane really has an advantage over everyone else.
I mean, you can't.
England
The
will
thing
go
is,
to
he
them.
had such a bad World Cup last year. Like, he only scored
No, I
one
agree,
goal or
dude,
two
but
goals in the World Cup.
he will score. He will score penalties. He will score.
But that's
third
no
open
sure.
play goals.
See, that's not your point. Is you're saying he will score penalties, but apart from that, that's the same thing. I can still sit and say Kane is going to score penalties. Like, that's my whole point. You can find even Jorginho being a top scorer based on if Italy gets like 4 penalties in 3 games. So, in terms of that, I still feel like, bro, Kane. I don't know. When it comes to the top for England, he hasn't performed. Like he had
Okay,
one
okay.
good Euros maybe, but again, I can't sit and say he's gonna be a sure favorite to come top three in goals scored just for the sake of every match is going to be very big. It's not going to be easy games. And also England are not playing home in Wembley every game like they played last Euros. You have to take that into factor also. They're going to
Hmm.
be playing in Germany or different players. Maybe you can
So
say Kane's been
let's
playing in
talk
Germany.
about Germany. Let's talk about Kai Havertz or Nicholas Füllkrug. Why would they not be in your list of
I
strikers?
mean,
Especially Havertz, who's coming on the back of a good season for Arsenal, playing in that position towards the end of the season. And yeah, Fulkrug, who's made it to the finals of the Champions League with Dortmund.
I mean, outside these three authentic strikers who've been in form for a continuous period of time, if I had to pick one who is going into the tournament in a red hot form, I think I too would say Kai Havertz. Simply of the
Yeah,
fact that he's been like, I feel he's one of those players for whom confidence matters a lot. He's had to play in midfield. He's had to play in the front line. It's been a chop and change for him. But off the late, you could see like one of like the type of goals that he's scoring. Like, those are proper striker runs. The first touch finishes. Even in the previous game where he scored, was he just took a touch, he turned and shot. Like, I couldn't, for the longest time, I couldn't remember him having that confidence in doing that. Like, he would previously try and set up someone, or this you can clearly see the difference that pure confidence weighs in on him. So I feel from that perspective, Kai Havertz is one of the shouts who deserves a fair shot, and I think he might, if he doesn't start in the front line, he's definitely gonna play in the midfield, because I don't think the manager Nagelsmann is not gonna bench him out and play him off the bench at all. Like, if Fulkrug plays and Havertz plays behind him, or he's gonna be the target man.
I think he plays, bro, for sure. And the thing is, I think he plays as a number 9. But the only thing for me with Havertz is he's not the most clinical. But I think that German midfield is so talented that he'll get a lot of chances. Like, I think he will get a lot of chances during this tournament. And that's where I think probably there's a shot for Havertz. I think you think Havertz or Fulkrug, one of them have a chance to get in.
dude, for me, I mean, we can say again, they have a pretty decent group, easy group. You would expect them to score a lot of goals in this group, facing the likes of Switzerland, Hungary, and Scotland, right? So, I mean,
Yeah.
not the worst group. I mean, you can say it's a bit easier, but again, I feel like there's no easy games in this Euros, especially how even the smaller nations have increased their quality in terms of football. And it's always going to be a knockout game. Literally every game is going to be a knockout game. So it's going to be tough in terms of goals. I always feel like that. Uh, thing with Germany is I think their balance, overall attacking balance, is going to be a bit weird because they have a lot of midfielders, they have a lot of number eights, but they don't really have traditional wingers. They don't really have players who can create chances and also a proper holding midfielder. That's the problem with
Yeah.
Germany. I still feel like as a team, I don't even see the thing is they're playing home, so that's going to be helpful for them. But the weird part is like sometimes I don't even know if they can make it past group stage or round of 16 comfortably. I still think there'll be a lot of low scoring games for them if you know for the sake of in terms of their team lineup and balance. I just don't think defensively they're that great. They don't have good fullbacks in my opinion. Centre backs are a bit sus in my opinion. I mean, Jonathan Tah and Rudiger never worked well for Germany over time. Rudiger doesn't perform well for Germany also. It's what I've seen over time. And Jonathan Tah, even though played for Leverkusen, won the double in Germany. I still don't think he's well experienced and good as great individual defender, to carry the backline. And
They
again,
have they have Schlotterbeck, mind you.
dude, I don't think Schlotterbeck
Bro.
starts over these two.
Yeah, I mean,
Schlotterbeck
I think
might
it'll be
start
Tah
left
and
back.
Rudiger.
Yeah, if Schlotterbeck starts, he might end up starting left back because Schlotterbeck's never been a first choice for Germany also. And right back,
Yeah.
I don't know if Kimmich is going to play right back, center mid. It depends on Nagelsmann. Generally likes Kimmich as a right back role. That's
Right
good.
back.
But apart
Yeah,
from
that's
that,
fair.
I look at their entire team. I just not impressed with them. So that's the problem with Kai Havertz. Even if he can score a bit of goals, I don't know if that entire team is going to function well. Because they have a lot of slow players. And defensively, I don't. They're going to get easily found out in terms of transition.
The thing
You know,
is,
in
yeah,
terms
exactly.
of-
Who's
you
the
look at their entire team, like,
center, who's the CDM that's gonna break up the plays? Who's gonna go in for this one? Like,
see, the
there's
thing
no
is, you'll
one
have to
left.
fit
At least
in
the
players
midfield
like
balance.
Gundogan,
Gundogan is
Musiala,
gonna play. Cruz might play.
Tony
Gundogan will
Kroos,
play.
Kimmich.
Cruz will play.
Like, you can't fit all of them as a midfield. And if you're trying to play
Exactly.
Wirtz left wing,
They play.
Musiala right
They'll
wing.
probably play
Musiala.
Musiala out wide.
Yeah, but that's where you lose a lot of balance, and I don't think that's going to be easy for them to just be like, yeah, they're going to score a lot of goals. That's my issue with Germany, and they haven't had a good tournament since literally 2014, right? In terms of World Cup and Euros, they've got
Yeah.
knocked out early in the World Cup, past two World Cups basically, and same thing with the Euros. I mean, that's the thing I don't know. Like, you have to also have Pascal Gross. So where will he play? Will he start playing? Like, that's the thing. They have a lot of
I don't think
midfielders,
he
and
starts. But yeah,
he
They
starts
have
for Germany.
Pavlovic
That's the
also,
thing.
but I don't think either of them start.
I don't, bro. See, Cruz and Gundogan will start no matter what, and then you
But
need
you
to
can't
fit
play
in
Kroos
Wirtz.
and Gundogan, but because both of them are left center mids, how can you like? That's my point. Like,
No,
the balance
Gundogan
is
will
there.
play. That they'll be fine. They'll play probably
That
Gundogan
is
on
not.
the
That's the
right.
point. Like, see, if you're having two players in the same position who work well in the left center mid, and then you have Wirtz also who plays well, and his best position is LCM. Then you have Musiala who, in my opinion, plays well in the pockets again. So you have 4 or 5 players who are only good at one-sided. Like, Gundogan doesn't play as the right center mid or an RCM hasn't played for a while, because with Germany also he plays at left center mid over time because Cruz retired. So Cruz might end up being the center mid, defensive mid. And if I have that again, it's going to be very difficult in terms of if he's a CDM, you're not going to get protection. I mean, again, we're going to a different tangent, but like for me, it's more of can Germany perform? So that's why I'm like iffy with how.
Okay, fair enough, guys. Then I think based on what we've discussed, unfortunately, I think this is. It looks like this. It looks like the obvious ones. I think we just agree on Kylian Mbappé, Harry Kane, and Cristiano Ronaldo because they look like the most. I think.
But to be
Unanimous
fair,
decision.
apart from Mbappe, I don't think the rest two can be would even be top scorers. That's my.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. But
No, there's
yeah,
a good chance these two are
yeah,
not.
probably
Of
not
course,
top scorers. You might have
because
white players. Dude, white players will chip in. Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
If you're talking about the top three
But yeah.
strikers, also just say strikers wise, we say like just keep a different scenario only for strikers, and we count their goals. Even that, I don't know if there will be the top three. Like maybe Mbappe will be based on him playing strike for France and France having a very solid squad
I
in
think
terms
Harry
of.
Kane will be there. I think Harry Kane will be there.
Dude,
In the
dude,
top.
trust me, I feel like players like Mitrovic, Vlahovic would have a better.
I agree. I think they will score goals. I think Harry Kane will also score goals, and he'll go deeper in the competition, which is why I think there's more of an advantage there. But yeah, let's put it at that. Okay, so not unanimously, but somehow we've come to Mbappe, Harry Kane, and Cristiano Ronaldo. Again, everybody, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. Rishi and Adi as well. These are our top 3 strikers going into the Euros. Again, not very convinced. I think none of us are convinced by this list, but it is a list we've come up with. Please do like and share the video, subscribe to Sports Cabri, and I will see you.